Hey everybody, I'm Jesse, and welcome to another edition of Gen X Things Live. I mess around and hit the wrong button and skip my intro. Shit happens, right? So it's just me. No intro this time. Uh, but today I guess I'll kick this conversation off by talking about how much I distrust the government. Lark Larkatmic Larkatmic. What's up, Lark? How's it going? Greasebag, what's up? Oliver Rust, glad to see you here, man. Uh, yeah, this whole thing, and I know I've talked about it before, but this thing with the Epstein file, right? Um, it just, I'm not trying to beat the Epstein file to death or anything, you know. Um, Whatever it is, it is. Other than I want to see child molesters, incarcerated. Well, not even incarcerated. I want to see child molesters punished. You know what I mean? Incarceration is a different thing. I've got my own views on justice and punishment, fitting the crime and all that. Swift public justice. But this whole thing with the Epstein files and the government, it's just really pointedly illustrates why I distrust the government. No matter who's up there in it, no matter what's going on, I distrust those sons of bitches because nothing is ever just plain out in the open, honest. Before Trump got in the office, they were talking about the Epstein files and going to release the Epstein files. Pam Bondi and the FBI guy, Kash Patel, they're going to release the Epstein files. And even after he got elected for a little while, a few weeks or a month or something, released the Epstein files, and then all of a sudden they said, there aren't any Epstein files. There's nothing to see here. There's no here to even see for anything to be. And now we went on like that for a while, and then it was, well, go ahead and release the Epstein files. Okay? Go ahead and push that through Congress and release the Epstein files. Well, I thought there wasn't anything to release in the first place. They told us there's nothing. There was nothing. Pam Bondi said there was a whole stack of shit. Then she said there was no stack, there was no shit. And now they're saying release the stack, release the shit. Okay? And so they voted on it, a month ago or something like that, and now it's taken them a month to release the shit. If they ever do release it. So if there's nothing to see here, if there's nothing in the Epstein files, then why didn't they just release it? As soon as the word was given, okay, if the votes were taken in Congress, release the shit, release the shit. There's nothing to hide. You've told us many times there's nothing to hide. There's nothing in there. Well, let us see the nothing. Why is it taking months to show us nothing? You know what I'm saying? And this is just what's happening now. But this is every time anything happens that the government has their fingers in. It's always confusing. We don't know what's going on. Then if you do come up with some kind of idea, hey, maybe this is going on, then you're a conspiracy theorist, you're a lunatic, you're branded as a tinfoil hat wearing son of a bitch. You know what I'm saying? And these scumbags are up here messing around, confusing everything, hiding shit, evading shit, lying constantly. How the hell can we trust any word that comes out of Washington D.C. ever? Big Country, Living and Active, what's up? Jeff 7, Arnis, Laura Ann, hey Laura Ann, Metal Gear, what's up? Glad to see y'all here, glad you could make it. But yeah, so that is the main reason I distrust the government, because they never just tell us, right? Never on anything. They're always lying and evading and confusing, creating division, It's always a miasma of bullshit that we got to try to sift through and come up, with some kind of common sense version of the truth. Try to figure out what's going on because they don't tell us, and that really gets under my skin sometimes. Before we get too deep into discussion, I don't know, as we all know now, we don't know which way this discussion is going. I start out crying about the Epstein list, and we might be talking about aliens or, you know, Ferris Bueller's Day Off. There's no telling where we'll end up with this conversation, but Vintage just is recovering. He went through some an ordeal with skin cancer, so I'd like everybody to keep him in your mind, and if it's your thing, say a prayer for Vintage, if you would. Him and his family. Yeah, he went through an ordeal with skin cancer there and had to go under the knife. So let's keep Vintage in our hearts. And Raziel is in the hospital right now. So let's say a prayer for him too, if that's your thing. Raziel, both those two are just longtime subscribers, and both of them are members of Gen X Thinks, and they mean a lot to the channel here. And we're gonna miss them while they're off doing their thing, getting well, hopefully quickly. And so I just wanted to say that before we get off any further into our conversation, just let y'all know what's going on with Vintage and Raziel, and so we could keep them both in our thoughts and prayers if we choose to. So yeah, especially it being Christmas time, that's a hard thing to go through. So all right, yeah, all right, thank y'all, I appreciate it. Let's see. Steal a Ferrari, Metal Gear. Hey Shannon, what's up? Muskogee Land. Keith Peterson, I see you there, Keith. You snuck in here on me, buddy. How's it going, man? Yeah. Yeah, me too, Greasebag. Yeah, me too. I pray they have a speedy recovery and get back in action real quick. I hate to see that kind of stuff for anybody, especially good people, that contribute a lot to our conversations, and just good people in general. So a lot of people deserve it, but not those two. not not those two. I can think of, so maybe some people on the Epstein list would deserve it, right? Yeah. All right. Thank you, Metal Gear. I appreciate it. Yeah, we're not spring chickens anymore. You got that right, Muskogee. Okay, big country. Thank you. Yeah, yeah. I'm sure they'll both appreciate it. And you know, Vintage has got it hard enough. Just being over there in Australia. You know what I mean? They have Christmas in the dead of summer. I wouldn't wish that on anybody. You know what I'm saying? Have Christmas in the dead of summer. I couldn't imagine having Christmas in August here in Florida. I would be miserable. So yeah, he's got it rough enough being there in Australia during Christmas. So he doesn't need any more misery heaped upon him. But yeah, I appreciate it. So thank y'all. No, me neither, Jeff. I've never stolen a car before, let alone a Ferrari. Yeah, I can drive a stick shift though, so if I'm ever forced to drive a Ferrari, I'll be able to. I don't know. They might be, even Ferraris might be automatics now, huh? Hell, I have no idea. Yeah, living. Yeah, you're right. Overdoses, cancer, everything. We've seen it all. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I appreciate it too, Greasebag. Yeah. Yep. It's just, I mean, so far it's full of great people who just contribute to the conversation. Nobody's ever, thrown any bullshit in the conversation, and tried to make things worse in any way. Everybody's just easygoing, happy people while we're here on Gen X Thinks anyway, and having good conversation and appreciating the opportunity to have the conversations with each other. So yeah, it's just an amazing thing we've got going on here, in my opinion. Dog Karma, what's up? Glad to see you here. Laura Ann, I had a teacher that took us out into the parking lot and showed us all how to hotwire a car. He was the best teacher. Yeah, yeah, I wish I had a teacher like that. Yeah, that would have been cool as hell. Taught you how to hotwire a car. Yeah, that's just awesome. That is awesome. Yeah, yeah. Wait, I mean, shit. What are you gonna do? Yeah, he deserves to be in some kind of teachers hall of fame or something. Yeah, that's just awesome. Yeah, that's yeah. There you go, living. That's an epic education, and that's the kind of shit they don't teach anymore, right? They don't teach that kind of stuff anymore in school, and that's a shame. That's a real shame. So, yeah, yeah. We used to have small engine repair and hot wiring. Oh yeah, yeah. Oliver, people are good here, dude. You're right about that. What were midterms like? Living, yeah. What the hell? You had to steal an 18 wheeler to pass. Osborne, okay. Yeah, we had some really good teachers too. There were a few of them. I normally liked the old mean ones the best for some reason. I don't know why, but because they wouldn't call the principal and shit, wouldn't send you to the principal. They'd just come over and whack you, or threaten you or something. Me and my buddy was talking. I never forget, and during small engine repair, and that old man come over and he said, if you two don't shut your mouth. He had a pair of vice grips. He said, I'm going to clamp both of y'all's nuts in these vice grips. And we were like, okay. Yeah, but he didn't get all upset and send us to the principal and all that shit, or didn't he just threatened us with physical violence and torture. And we shut up. Doll karma. Yeah. Oh, okay. Music channels. Okay, Keith. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I like music as well as the next guy, I think, but I'm just not. I'm not really into it like a lot of people are. But yeah, and I would like to play some on the intros and stuff, and play some, once in a while. But YouTube gets mad at me. I did that one time. I just put little tiny clips in there, and made a video about nostalgic Gen X music, and just played like little 10-second clips from MTV videos, but YouTube gave me a strike and shit and whatever, and so I haven't tried to play any more music and so I don't talk too much about music, because music is something, you got to hear it. So I mean, we do start listing bands and songs once in a while, in the chat, but I don't do music themed videos anymore. Teachers giving us dirty looks for hot wiring the Cadillacs and Lexuses. Yeah, what's your problem, Teach? All right, hey Arnis, what's up? Ezekiel. Good evening, Ezekiel. Glad to see you here. Yeah. Use a 1 pound dent puller, pull the ignition, slide a AA battery in the socket, turn the butterfly, and away you go. All right. All right, Arnis. Oh, okay. No tests in that class, Laura. Okay, that's cool. You saw the movie Slacker? Oh, no shit. The other guy is from, or the other channel host is from Florida too. Yeah, it could be. Could be a neighbor. Wasted Gator, what's up? Glad to see you here. Yeah, you're right, dude. Gen Xers rule and we're the shit. And everybody knows it. That's why they're mad. That's why people get mad at Gen X because they know we're the shit. And we don't advertise it, right? I mean, we'll say it to each other, but I don't go around, posting memes about how awesome Gen X is because we already know it, you know. We just talk about how awesome Gen X is to each other. Yeah, we don't have to broadcast that shit everywhere. Opening from the electric company. Hey, you guys. Yeah. Goonies, too. Yeah. Yeah, living. Yep. I was doing that news stuff, and no news is good news. Yeah. That was from. Now I forget now. I know it was Gary Gnu. Great Space Coaster, wasn't it? Wasn't that it, living? I think so. Melody's back. Where'd Melody? Oh, there you are, Melody. Hey, welcome to the show, Melody. Oh, okay. Well, thanks for checking in. I'm glad you did. You too, Oliver. Yeah, you're in there. Yeah, yeah, Metal Gear. Gen X doesn't give a damn. Yeah, and the more I look into stuff, the less I actually care about it. The more I learn about shit, the less I care about it. It's like whatever. Whatever. We're the generation that turned whatever into an emotion. Whatever. That's the only emotion we have. Whatever. you gotta you gotta admit that's an awesome generation. If we, we turned whatever into an emotion, that's the only one we display. To the public. Whatever, dude. Yeah. Hey. Space Ghost, yeah. Oh, I love Space Ghost, yeah. That was one of my. Oh, okay. You don't remember? I think it was Great Space Coaster living. I'm not sure, not 100% sure, but I don't think it was Electric Company. I could be wrong. Oh, okay. Yeah. All right, Melody. Well, I'm glad you stopped by. Yeah, yep. That's how I am. Yeah, like I just said, Keith. The more I learn about stuff, the less I give a shit. Because the more I learn, the more I find out it's bullshit. It's it's fraudulent. you know, it was all a bunch of lies. Uh, I was scared of the killer bees. I thought the killer bees were going to come get us when I was 8 or whatever. And I was scared of the acid rain when I was 6. And I was scared. And, all that stuff when I was a little kid. And then you figure out, that the acid rain didn't fall and the killer bees didn't come up on and and sting me to death. And, um, and as you go along like that throughout your life, and then it's the nuclear holocaust and the ozone layer and the this and that and the Y2K and the ice age and then the we're gonna run out of oil and all this stuff. You know what I mean? And the longer you live, the more you realize that they're just full of shit. All of it was lies. Everything I just labeled off was just bullshit. Isn't that crazy? We were told all that shit as if it were real. I mean, like they were just reporting the news, and it was just complete bullshit. Blows my mind. Yeah, Melody, whatever. Yeah, I love it too. Yeah. RR, what's up, RR? Glad to see you here. Glad you could make it. Yeah, yeah, Metal Gear. That's kick ass, dude. Whatever. Yeah, don't mess with Gen X, Muskogee. Yeah, you're right about that, dude. I had the chalk outline guy too. Yeah, hose water. Yeah, I like that line too. We were raised on hose water and neglect. Like neglect is what, what was a thing that we got and we were raised by neglect. That's just awesome. It's so true though, so true. Especially in my me and my brothers and sisters. Neglect was the main thing we got from our parents. Yeah, yeah, living. We are the generation that had the same conditioned responses to tomatoes as we did to a nuclear attack. Yeah, yeah, I like that, dude. Yeah, RR, it's always something, always something. Global warming, global cooling, global this, global that, climate change, um, and then all the health stuff and all everything. It's always something. Oh yeah. No, Keith. That was that yeah. Cackling hyena word salad was a joke. Um, yeah. There's no way. But if you want to play devil's advocate, you know what I mean. It's easy to see or to entertain the idea that whenever I see that, and I've been first time I really thought about it and recognized it was with Obama when Obama was running, but they put someone so horrible as the like the whatever the throwaway. You cannot vote for this person. Even anybody anywhere in the moderate middle cannot vote for that fool, that lunatic. So you're either going to abstain or you're going to vote the other way. I think that's just another way to control elections. Now, I'm not saying that happened in this instance. I don't know. But it's a way that I think they use to get their person in. You know what I mean? To put the put it just a complete catastrophe to run up against them. You know? It was a great space coaster. Okay, dog karma. Oh, Super Friends, yeah. I used to love the Super Friends. We're not old yet, Muskogee. The boomers are old. You got a bunch of hoes in neglect. Melody, you got some too? Yeah. Oh, I can relate. Definitely, I can relate. Yeah. This thing called attention. What the hell is that? Yeah. What is that shit? Yeah, vintage. Yeah, I like that, Laura Ann. Yeah. Oh, tornado, not tomato. Oh, the thing. All right. Sorry about that, living. I misread your deal there. Yeah, yeah, wasted. Oh, yeah, definitely. in my lifetime, well, my childhood, definitely a whole lot more responsibility than a child, really needs to have, and a whole lot more freedom. Not that the freedom part, I think children should have a lot of freedom. That's the thing that I loved most about my childhood was all the freedom I had. So yeah, Pledge of Allegiance, and an hour later did drills getting under the desks. Yep, yeah, Oliver. Yeah, the Gen Z stare, Muskogee. Yeah, that was me too, living. Yep. My dad's friends actually told him that kid's 30 years old, going on, or 9 going on 30 or whatever. Oh, okay. All right, big country. Yeah, no, my dad, I had to work horses and shit. But other than that, whatever, however many hours a day, he had me do that. But other than that, I was free. I was running just buck wild like a damn, like a gazelle, just going any direction I wanted for however long I wanted. Literally, I could be gone for 2 or 3 days without even telling anybody. Just show up 2 or 3 days later and walk through the door, and nobody even batted an eye at that. Literally. Yeah, yeah. I'm that's the way I'm thinking too. Underground. I don't know. That shit's getting crazy, dude. Or no, that's probably one of the dumbest things I've ever said, especially on this show. That things are getting crazy. It's just been ridiculous for decades. Yeah. Yeah, now we're 9 again, dog karma. Yeah. Yeah, we survived razors in our Halloween candy, Ezekiel. You're right about that. Yeah. Okay, Melody. Yeah. Yeah, flip a coin. Yeah, I don't think it does any good anymore. Not that it I don't think it ever did, really. Not for a long, long time. Now they just blatantly pull so much bullshit. It's ridiculous. Bad things happen when you get attention, Chris. Yeah. 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 I know. I know what you mean. No, hell no. Underground. Uh, May Gemini's. That's May Gemini's, and the class of '91 rules. Underground knows this stuff. He's just playing around, y'all. He knows Gemini's. Gemini's are the best. They have fumigated the entire building when you were in school, and nobody even told you, huh? Living. That's some cold-blooded shit there, dude. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. My dad wasn't like that. Now, my dad, we never got like spankings. My dad would just, but I would have rather had a spanking once a week or twice a week or whatever. But my dad he wouldn't touch us for 3, 4 months and then get pissed off and throw us an actual beat down. You know what I mean? Usually when he was drunk. So yeah. No, but he didn't just spank us like spank us. He didn't do that shit. I don't know. My dad was a weird guy. Best friends with the paddle in grade school, underground. Yeah, yeah, exactly, Melody. Yeah, we had, and that's one of the reasons I love freedom so much. It's because I was raised with it. I know what it is. These kids now, they don't even know what they're, they weren't born with that kind of freedom. They didn't grow up with that kind of freedom. So they know what, they don't have any, uh, as much to lose as we already have, right? They can't lose that much freedom because they never had it. They don't even understand what it's like to have freedom like that. And they're not as attached to freedom as we are. And then they quit saying the Pledge of Allegiance in school and stuff and all that other kind of stuff too. There's so much that goes into that that we could talk about. But yeah, bicentennial, 76 living. All right, Keith Peterson. Oh, okay. So you were born in 65, Keith? Yeah. Yeah, Metal Gear, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, the Atari Safari. Yeah. I want to get, if I ever get the money, I want to get one of those. They have those, they're smaller than they used to be, but still you stand up and play them, the arcade boxes. I want to get one and put it right here, like where the wreath is. One of these days, if I ever get enough money to do it. But yeah, now you can buy the cabinet. That's what it's called, arcade cabinet. You can buy them, and but they have like 20 games on them or something. So, but the old school Galaga and Pac-Man and stuff like that on there. That'd be pretty cool. 51 next month, Metal Gear. You're just a kid still, dude. Yeah, you're still Metal Gear, still wet behind the ears. Class of '93. Yeah. All right. 93. Yeah. 93 was all right. That was a decent year. 55 on July 18th. What is it? So July, June, May, June. So I'm about 2 months older than you, Loran. I'm gonna be 55 in May. Yeah. What are we doing now, Dead Wolf? Talking about age and how the government sucks and how boomers suck, how Gen Z sucks. Um, who else sucks? Pretty. Then there have been a couple of comments how everyone else sucks except Gen X, which is where I have to agree with that comment. Right? That's the one that I'm on that page there, where just everybody sucks except Gen Xers, and so now we're all putting our birthdays down to prove that we're Gen X, so everybody knows we don't suck. 58 Ezekiel Libra, yeah. Yeah, almost feel like a poser, huh? Living. Oh, to be 55 again. you, you, you calling me and Laura Ann youngsters, Dead Wolf? uh, 83, Keith. Oh yeah, spankings are nothing to be ashamed of. Hell, that's how we learned. Yeah. Chris is having a birthday. Where's Chris Angel? They're trying to look through the comments here. Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, Chris Angel. Happy birthday, Chris. Yeah, the big 4-7, huh? Well, happy birthday. I hope you have a wonderful Christmas as well, Chris Angel. Oh yeah, yeah, Daniel. Or that I totally agree. Cell phones was the death of freedom. Yes. Yeah. Now we're tracked and monitored and all this bullshit. The worst thing that happened for humanity, in my opinion, is when they made shit mobile. We could have lived our entire lives, just having desktop computers, and that was the golden age, when we just had the internet, first started getting the internet, and it, and it just started getting decent speeds, you know, and but before the cell phone came out. Yep. Yeah, buying a bottle of Jack and driving to Dallas to party. Yeah. Yeah, Muskogee. You can't argue with that. There's nothing to argue with there. You buy a bottle of Jack Daniels, you just get your shit no matter where you are in Western civilization, you drive to Dallas. Yeah. Yeah. If you gotta jump out of your shit, your car, your truck, and jump in a boat, you just keep trucking. Yeah. They should have like floating bars in the ocean so you can stop and pick up another bottle of Jack on your way to Dallas. Hell yeah, dude. Yeah, the sprinkler spanking. Yeah, underground. Grab you by one arm and whoop you around in a circle. Yeah. Yeah, Laura Ann. That's what, yeah. If, yeah, all this adult stuff is for the birds. And I never really thought about it, the whole thing about being an adult and all that shit. Um, because I just don't like it. I really, no, I don't like it. Uh, I'd rather just, run around and play in the mud and shit. Jump the sprinkler and, throw shit at my brother. Yeah. You had to grab your ankles and take it. Oh, yeah, that'd be tough, Arnis. Yeah. Yeah. In one way, I had it easy. I had it better because, you get hit once, and then you're unconscious and you wake up, you don't have to suffer through the entire whooping. I would just, wake up later and it would be sore. So, yeah. Babylon Rectangle of Death, Dead Wolf. Michael Snyder, 55 this past October. Oh, you got me by a couple months then, Mike. Yeah. Yeah, Dead Wolf. Yeah. It all sucks except us. Yeah. Seems like the older ones are, I keep saying this, but that shit just burned in my brain. That video of that old 70-year-old man spanking that Trump doll. Bad, bad boy. And I was like, what the hell? What, and you never see Gen Xer out there doing shit like that. Never, ever. I never see any of those videos, of 40, 50-year olds out there. It's always old people, in their 70s and 80s, or young people, with rings in their nose and shit and purple hair. Yeah. Yeah. E-Fog. What's up, E-Fog? Michelle. Oh, it's Michelle Snyder. Did I mispronounce that? All right, Michelle. Yeah, you got a few months on me. E-Fog. Who else? We got people showing up while I'm not paying attention. Shannon, 79. Oh, you barely made the cutoff, Shannon. Yeah, that's cool though. You did. That's when the middle finger. Arnis. That's one thing. I don't know how many of you ever listened to Marilyn Manson, but I remember one song, one line in one of his songs was, "I wasn't born with enough middle fingers." I forget where I heard that shit from, uh, where I heard the song, but yeah, that thing just stuck in my head. I wasn't born with enough middle fingers. Yeah, that is awesome. Walmart has good music now. What you mean for the holidays, Laura Ann, or like this day and age? Yeah, millennial. She thinks Gen X is crazy. Yeah, most of them do. Most of them think we're off our rockers, or if they even understand. A lot of the younger ones don't even understand that there is a Generation X. They just think everybody, everybody older than millennials are boomers. Oh, vinyl records. Oh yeah, yeah, underground. Yeah, you're right. I did. I saw some of those as I was walking through there the other day. Yeah, Michelle. Yeah, I've actually made a couple videos on that in the past. Lack of discipline. Yep. And I think as a rule, not everyone. There's a lot of solid people out there who did their best to raise their kids right. But as a rule, I think Generation X kind of overcorrected with the whole, um, neglect thing. We were neglected, so we weren't going to neglect our kids. That type of thing. Um, that and the educational system was, taken over by the government and just sucks now. I mean, oh, horribly sucks the education system. And we grew up to trust the education system. The school we went to, and we remember everything was fine. You could send your kid off to school, and they would learn some math and stuff. They wouldn't be told that they were the wrong gender and shit. And no teacher would dare tell us back then not to tell your mom and dad something. Holy shit! Can you imagine a teacher saying that to a kid back then in the 70s or 80s? Holy shit! Parents would be burning the damn school down. But nowadays, yeah. Oh, here's some medicine. Don't tell your mom. We're gonna go take you to see a doctor. Don't tell your parents. That kind of shit happens today. That's horrifying. That's crazy. So it's not all on the parents, but yeah, we own some of that responsibility. The Eye of Sauron. Yeah, RR. I agree, dude. Yeah, participation awards, Michelle. Yeah. What the hell? That I remember when that shit first started happening, and it sounded so stupid to me that I thought it was just a fad type of thing, right? It was just, this kind of shit will come and go, but they stuck they made that shit stick around. Not only that, they took it up several notches. Yeah, yeah, Michelle, I totally agree. You got a Gen Z little sister, Shannon? Oh, I bet. I bet you have fun picking on her. I would if she was my sister. Holy shit. I have fun picking on my nephews. I've got Gen Z nephews. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I, as with every issue we have, and with just every issue we have, but we're talking about these kids in particular right now. It's all complicated. It's all There are many reasons for it, just like the economy, just like war, just like every bullshit issue we have. There are many reasons, right? Uh, the internet has had a big influence on these kids. If they hadn't been raised with all this internet bullshit and cell phones and all this stuff when they were, getting cell phones when they were 10 years old, and then being allowed to have them in class and all this, social media. There's so many variables that go into why these kids are lunatics that, I can't just blame parents and say, oh, it was those parents that did it. I just can't do that. Yeah, there are a lot of parents that need to um, own up to what they did, of course. But there are also a lot of other um, reasons for why we are here today and why these kids are the way they are. Stop talking about AIDS, Muskogee Land. Muskogee Land's getting mad over there in Santa Fe. Oh, okay. You didn't hear? I forget what the hell I said, Loran. Oh, you missed the cutoff, Jeff Seven. That's all right. You're still a Gen Xer. You're still a Gen Xer in my book. Yeah, and that's another thing I think about the generations. I mean, we had some egghead up in a cubicle writing down dates, on a calendar, and you know, I mean, it's a good guideline to go by. Everybody pretty much born within those dates are Gen X, pretty much. You know what I mean? But if you have the Gen X mentality, the Gen X mindset, then you're Gen X. You know what I mean? We all know who we are. We know, we have the same basic traits. Whatever. You know what I mean? We don't give a shit. We don't give a shit about your climate. We don't give a shit about your feelings, all this stuff. And that's what makes us Gen X, not necessarily some shit that somebody penciled on a calendar. Yeah, build your old man. What's up, old man? Build your own dreams, or someone will hire you to build theirs. Yep, you're right about that. Oh, you gonna do a show on age, Muskogee Land? Yeah. Getting old is a drag. I don't. I mean, aside from some pain, I've got more pain now, but it's not all of the pain I feel, because I've got my elbow hurts pretty regular and this shoulder hurts, but it was all literally stuff I did in my 20s, and now it's coming back to haunt me. Why that shit? I'm sure there's a medical explanation why that shit just goes dormant for 30 years and then pops back up. Oh, now I'm gonna hurt. You know what I mean? I haven't done anything to injure myself really in the last 20 years, 15, 20 years. But well, I broke a toe earlier this year, but yeah, I haven't done anything to injure myself really. But I hurt a lot more, for some reason. Other than that, getting old doesn't bother me too much. Oh yeah, living, yeah, yeah, that should be punishable. Uh, well, you know how well, yeah, jail. Jails are okay, I guess. You need jails for holding people until sentencing and stuff, or trial or whatever. But I just don't believe in prisons. I believe in swifter justice than that. Not bilking the taxpayers to pay, the privately owned prisons. I just that's another way to rob us. But yeah, they should be punished, definitely. Don't tell your parents. Those words should not come out of anyone's mouth who works for a school. No administration, no teacher, none of them. That should be punishable by, yeah. There should be a law against it. Oh, you Ezekiel, they tell you you're number one all the time, huh, dude? Yeah, Keith. Some of those moms were beasts back then. Yeah. Yep. You didn't mess around. The moms would come down in force. Yeah, like a wrecking ball in that high school. All right, Arnis. Thanks for showing up, man. Thanks for dropping by. I appreciate it. Oh yeah, Michelle. I just read a statistic a few months ago that literally prison inmates spend more time outside than Generation Z. Yeah, yeah. So and that's totally believable. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Underground. That's true. That's true. And I saw that before. I've told her this before. Now, when YouTube was new and people were just posting all kinds of stuff to YouTube, I saw somebody get on there. It was a forum, and they wanted YouTube to go through and watch millions of hours of video so that they could take it off so their kid wouldn't watch it, right? And my first thought was, why don't you just look at what your kid's watching and make sure the kid doesn't watch the shit? How are you gonna, you want YouTube to parent your child? You know what I mean? And I know it's a little more nuanced and complicated than that, but in another way, it's not really. Your kid watches what you let him watch. You know what I mean? You catch your kid watching some funky shit, then they get their ass busted and they get their tablet or whatever taken away, and that's it. But a lot of people don't want to. It's not that they don't want to discipline their kids, but they don't want to be, they don't want to follow through. You tell your kid you don't, I'm going to take your Xbox away for a week, and you give it back to him in 2 days. That's not following through. Yeah, and back when I was a kid, Daniel. Oh, thank you, Daniel. Thank you. Yeah, last group with no cell phones. Oh, okay. Yeah, we are the last. Yeah, we're the last in a lot of ways. Yeah, you're right, Daniel, and thank you very much. I appreciate that. But yeah, Daniel, you're right. We were the last in a lot of ways. The last to grow up with no cell phones, and uh, the last to really get discipline. Corporal punishment at home and at school. There are a lot of things that we were the last to experience, and the world is changing way out. And I think all of that is those changes. Most of those changes are for the worse. Kids need, they don't need beat like I got beat when I was a kid, but they need their asses whipped. Let's be real. They need to go outside. Kids need to go outside. Kids need to have their Xbox taken away for the whole week. Put the shit in the closet. They don't get it until, and if they keep doing a shit, keep acting up, they just add more time. And they can sit there and read a book, or they can go out and play. And then if they keep acting up, then now we're talking about spanking territory. Now, you know what I mean? Don't ask me about your Xbox again, or it's spanking time. So, but that's just how I would do things. If I were living in today's day and age, if I had kids in today's day and age, young kids. But I was in the Army. I believe in discipline, strict discipline, not this wishy-washy shit. You know what I mean? And by strict, I mean just following through. I say you don't get your Xbox for a week. That means you don't get your Xbox for a week. And my kids know that, they knew that whatever I said was the law. I mean, that was what was going to happen. They weren't going to change my mind and shit. You know what I'm saying? They just get themselves in more trouble. So, yeah, that's the kind of stuff that I think people slack off on, and the lax in discipline like that, to me, is worse than being conscientious about discipline. It's just worse. It's harder. It's more difficult. Oh yeah, yeah. Being outside is just healthy. Um, Exercise. You're exploring, using your imagination. It's healthy for mind, body, and soul. Being outside, being cooped up in a room, looking at a screen and teabagging, strangers online and shit. That stuff is not. It's just not healthy. Oh, okay, Melody. Yeah. All right. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with video games, but to me, I believe that thing, that they say that moderation in all things. I play video games. I still do. I love video games. It's a cool all art forms in one thing. You know, there's music and can't there opportunity for a well written story and all kinds of cool stuff. So yeah, video games are awesome, in my opinion. Oh yeah, yeah. Well, underground. Yeah, I'm super appreciative for all the knowledge and problem solving resources I've gained from the internet. I quit social media 8 years ago. Yes. Now that's where we have to put a dividing line. You know what I mean? The internet is not. It's like AI, right? AI is not inherently bad. Neither is the internet. It's how people use it. It's all the dog shit on there, and you can take stuff off or ignore it, or make sure your kids ignore the dog shit. That doesn't mean that the internet is the devil or we shouldn't have the internet. I believe that the mobilizing it, I don't think that was the best thing to do for humanity. You know what I mean? I don't think it should have been mobilized. People can walk across the room and sit down at the damn desk and look up whatever they want to look up on their computer. Uh, yeah, cell phones are super convenient, but somehow we got along without them for thousands of years. So I don't think that mobilizing the internet was a good idea for humanity. I don't think that social media is basically poison for your brain, right? It's just social media is dog shit. Um, so there's a lot, just like anything else. There's a lot of bad along with the good. But yeah, the internet is amazing thing that that should have uplifted humanity to the next level, right? It should have, but it's in a lot of ways it's dragged us down. You know what I mean? Made us porn addicts and gambling addicts and whatever else, child porn and all this bullshit on here. Uh, the list goes on of all the crap, just horrible dog shit on the internet. But that does not make the internet a bad thing. The internet is has a lot of wonderful aspects to it. Yeah, yeah, Michelle. Oh, I've talked about these kids nowadays and how they actually think that not only do they think that everything is abuse, but they think words are violence and all this shit. This kid actually got messaged me in the messages here and told me that his parents abused him, but by telling him that his mom told him that how'd she say it? I brought you into this world so I can take you out, and he called that abuse. That was abuse in his definition, by his definition. It was abusive for them to tell him to sleep on the floor. He didn't specify, but he didn't say it like he had to sleep on the floor from the age of 13 to 18 or something like that. No, they just made him sleep on the floor. And I assume it's because, some family members come over and there wasn't enough room everywhere. So they made him be polite and sleep on the floor and let his cousin sleep in the bed or something, over the Thanksgiving weekend or some shit like that. That's the kind of the vibe that he gave out. But his whole thing was that he wrote his parents off and wasn't speaking to him anymore because they were toxic and evil for this normal everyday shit that they just seem like normal people, even by his standards. What he was saying, they just seemed like normal people, and he was going on about how he couldn't. They were just horrible, and he couldn't live with it, and it was just utterly ridiculous. But that's these kids are, and but part of that, I know they're living through it and stuff. but that's got to be hard for, that's got to be very hard on the parents, and it's all this. But you look at the internet, and that's what's kind of, what do I want to say, it's celebrated. It's very popular for them to tell each other, and that the best thing they ever did was to go non-contact with their parents. You know, that's the best thing ever. Well, yeah, because that's easy for you to say on the internet, but it's a lot easier to get through life if you have a supportive parent that'll help you out when you need it. You know what I mean? So it's just there's so much bullshit, and that's another bad thing about the internet. It is just propagated lies like mushrooms in a field of shit that people just lie and lie and lie. Yeah. So the internet isn't all wonderful, but it's an amazing tool. Yeah, yeah. Just mute that shit. I mean, I wouldn't if I personally, I wouldn't stop using the internet just because it's crammed with dog shit. I just ignore the dog shit. I don't look at that shit. I don't participate in that shit. Yeah, yeah. Kids need to learn that old saying, Michelle. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. Yeah. Oh, all right, Dead Wolf. No, Dead Wolf has a channel over there. Y'all should go check him out too. Dead Wolf Resistance. If I'd have known, yeah, if I'd have thought about it, I'd have put your link in my description, Dead Wolf. But yeah, yeah. If you want me to promote your channel, if you have a YouTube channel and you would like me to promote it here on Gen X Thinks, then send me an email. Here, I'll get my email right here. That's my email, genxthinks@gmail.com. If you want me to promote your channel, then all you have to do is send me your icon, just like that right there, my Gen X Thinks icon. Send me your icon and the name of your channel, the link to your channel, and I'll promote your channel. I have no problem. All that stuff, I don't. I think we do better if we promote each other and help each other out. Not everybody's gonna, like every channel, but at least we can let each other know we exist, and then some people will like your channel. So yeah, feel free to email me and give me your information, and I'll promote your channel. No problem. Yeah, passion and desire. Yeah, you're right, RR. Yeah, yeah, Audrey. Yeah, we spent time mixing, playing out. Yeah. Um, and I just think if you look at all this stuff, look at all this obesity and diabetes and stuff. You know what I mean? And it's getting more and more. Okay, people are getting more and more overweight. They're getting more and more cases of diabetes, and that's evolutionary because it's going throughout our all of society, right? People are evolving, and I don't think that's good. You know, I don't think that's where we want. We're smart enough where we can shape our evolution. We don't have to evolve into these people that sit around in hover chairs like on Wall-E, you know, and we're sick and can't hardly move and stuff. We don't have to do that just because we have the means. We should be outside playing and learning and using our imaginations. Imagination is something that's going away quickly because everything is online now. People don't use their imaginations anymore. They don't use that mental muscle like we did when we went outside and we pretended a lot. They don't have to pretend anymore. They just do it online, right? I don't have to pretend to be a World War II soldier. I just play Call of Duty. Uh, and this kind of stuff. It's just making us weaker. in our bodies and our minds, and I'm talking about as humanity as a whole. Yeah, yeah, Michelle. Yeah, abuse is getting beat, starved, abandoned. Yeah, that kind of stuff. These kids calling this shit abuse now, just a offhanded comment. My mom used to tell me that shit all the time. I brought you into this world. I can take you out. When I was 6 years old, I would blow her off, but whatever, mom. I remember her saying that shit when I was just a little kid. I was like, yeah, whatever. But these kids, oh, oh my goodness, my mom threatened me. Oh, what am I gonna do? Laying on their therapist couch and taking pills and explaining to their therapist how their mom's so abusive and shit, and she's gonna take me out of this world, Mr. Therapist. No, you have Facebook only to get raw milk, huh, Loran? Well, that's a good reason to have Facebook. If there is a good reason, that's a good one. Yeah. Yeah, our words melt snowflakes. Yeah, dude. Oh yeah, living no problem. Yeah, I've got to give you another shout out too. I just have to put the link in the description if I don't remember to do it beforehand, and a lot of times I'm just getting off work and I run in here, but I'll do it. I'll do it again. I'll give you another shout out in a future episode. Living. Yeah, all the toxic political stuff you were posting. Keith, yeah. Oh, okay. The Royal Rangers. I've heard of them before, Underground. Yeah. Yeah, they all should. Yep. I agree with you, Underground. They all should. Yep. Yeah, Daniel, that shit drug us down and exposed people. Yeah. Oh, they can, Shannon? Yeah, here in Florida, it's just completely illegal. They can sell it, but they've got to label it for animal consumption only. Yeah, me neither, Michelle. I take Advil once in a while, but I don't even know if it does if it helps. I just take it once in a while, because my elbow hurt or whatever. But yeah, I don't take any meds either. Oh, it's vulgar, Muskogee. Well, I just let me know. People can decide on their own. I think all of us have heard the F bomb before. I just don't, I don't drop too vulgar language on here, just in case, whatever, for somebody's grandchild is listening or something. I don't want I just don't want to have that kind of channel. So not that that's a bad channel. I just don't want to have that kind. I don't want to have a channel about, um, furry babies or whatever, beanie babies or whatever either. That's so it's just a taste thing, not because I'm some kind of goody two shoes or anything. I drop f bombs all day at work. So yeah, but to each their own. Hell, some people just won't give a shit, and they'll still subscribe to your channel. Oh yeah, Michelle. I used to have a cow and I would milk it myself, and I would ladle the cream off the top after it separated. I just ladle the cream right onto my breakfast cereal. That shit was good. It was rich though, but it was good. Yeah. Yeah, unfit. Audrey, yeah, exactly. Oh, okay. Shannon. All right. You just trade it directly to the neighbors. All right. Yeah. Yeah, especially now that all the kids have cell phones and stuff, and then they'll talk to their friends, and their friends called the cops on their parent, and that kind of shit gets normalized. Okay. Back when I was a kid, I can just imagine one of my friends said, "Oh, I called the cops on my parents." We would have ragged that dude. You know what I mean? You snitched on your own parents, dude? Oh, you're kidding me, dude. You can't hang out with us. Get the hell out of here. You know, we would have razzed him and shamed him into I don't know, probably into a coma. Yeah, if he snitched on his own, called the cops on his own parents. So yeah, I mean that just wasn't a thing to do. You know, your own circle of friends wouldn't put up with that shit, let alone your parents and the rest of your family. So yeah, um, no, it's pop. You know, I don't want to say popular, but it's normalized now. You know, that kind of shit. They've normalized it. The media, movies, all this. You know, just society in general, and you know, all these Karens watching and calling the cops on people and all this shit. Yeah, no, I wouldn't call the cops on any damn buddy. If I saw something going on that wrong that I needed to call the cops, I would stop it myself probably before I called the cops. What's an LD cake, Melody? Did somebody say something about an LD cake? Oh yeah, Muskogee Land. I'm only eating two LD cakes tonight. Lemon daiquiri cakes. Oh, Little Debbie's. Oh, all right. Yeah, tattletaling. Yep. Yeah, we that whole tattletale and snitching thing, especially on your own parents. Hell no, that wouldn't have crossed our minds. Yeah, no one's special. And that's just like um, Tyler Durden said in Fight Club. You know, you're not a unique, special snowflake. You're the singing, dancing crap of the world. You know what I'm saying? Just, and that's the way. You know, it's all nobody's in a way everybody's special. You know, but in every way that matters, nobody's special. We're all in this shit together. We're all the same. You know, and nobody deserves a free ride from anybody else. Nobody deserves my shit that I've worked hard for. Nobody's special, especially in that kind of regard. You know what I mean? Um, so yeah, nobody deserves special recognition. Nobody deserves to have their everybody tap dancing around their feelings and shit. And, oh, don't upset so and so and all this shit. No, he needs to put his damn big boy pants on and realize that the world hurts. That's it. The world hurts. It sucks. Life's a bitch, and then you die. Get over it. The sooner you realize that, the sooner life quits being such a horrendous bitch, and you can enjoy it a little bit. You know what I mean? Hardwire, what's up, Hardwire? One percenter. All right, all right. Well, glad you're here, Hardwire. Glad you could make it. Yeah, but that shit really burns my ass. That whole thing about feelings and oh, don't you offended me and all this shit. I mean, I could set two people down right here and call them both the same name, whatever you want. Rumpelstiltskin. I could say, y'all two look like Rumpelstiltskin to me. One of them can get completely offended and, blow up and storm off and everything, and the other one would just sit there and that's the dumbest shit I ever heard, dude. I don't care. You know what I mean? Whatevs. I don't care what you think. So, and in that, two people having completely different reactions, that is proof that the words meant nothing. The reaction was the way the person chose to react to those words. You know what I mean? Uh, Especially on here, I get a lot of in the comments, I get a lot of people calling, and Generation X, and me in particular, of course, all kinds of crazy shit, all kinds of stupid shit people say on there trying to insult me. I don't care. I don't care what they think. I don't care. It doesn't bother me at all. I mean, literally, at all. I couldn't care less. You know? Just all that shit is, and you're asking for a miserable life. You're asking for, to allow the whole world to hurt you, to allow words to be violence. You're just begging for a miserable ass life. You're begging to hurt every second of every day for the rest of your life. I and all of my fellow Gen Xers, we don't want to be victims. I don't want to be, I don't want to walk through life constantly getting hurt by mean words and violent words and toxic words and thumbs up emojis. I have to, call my therapist at home because some mean Gen Xer put a thumbs up emoji on my thing. That kind of shit. I mean, come on, give me a damn break. Oh yeah, shit. You're right. Hardwire's right. I just broke the #1 rule of Fight Club. Shit. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, it's part of the same manure pile. RR. Yeah. Yeah, Michelle. Yeah. Pay it forward when you can. When you can't, whatever. But we try to do the best we can through this damn life, and upset as many snowflakes as we can, because we can. It's fun. It's fun. Upsetting snowflakes is fun for a lot of people. That could be a sport. A recognizable sport in the Olympics. Line up some Gen Zs in chairs on the ring, in the ring there, and let Gen X fire off volleys of violent words at them, and see which one speed dials their therapist first. But it's fun, to offend people and shit. So people just need to suck it up, in my opinion. And then that's the thing that I learned growing up, is the best way to combat someone who's trying to get under your skin with words is just ignore them. Just ignore them. Don't get all hurt and upset, because that's what that is their goal. Their goal is to upset you. Their goal is to offend you and get under your skin. If you just whatever, dude, then they've lost all power. It takes all the fun out of it. And that's fun. Taking someone else's fun is fun. Yeah, you're right about that, Michelle. We don't use words. Yeah, I don't know. Victim, that's the nickname for Gen Z. Victim Gen. Yeah, and finding those of you, with an active channel. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, hey Crusader, what's up? Yeah, I think so too. If it happens while we're still alive, but yeah, even if we're older, and we'll be the only ones with that kind of knowledge. You know what I mean? We'll be the only ones left. So yeah, I agree. Yeah, yeah, that makes you Gen X hardwire. Speaking of hardwire, that's hotwire. I was gonna say that we were just talking about hot wiring cars and shit earlier. Yeah, that's what I was saying, Crusader. Making snowflakes cry is quite fun. Yeah. But it's just easier now. Back when we were younger, it was a little bit tougher. Now it's, like shooting fish in a barrel. You know what I'm saying? You just, oh yeah, you literally all you have to do is put a thumbs up emoji. They could spout and cry and sit there and type 3 paragraphs on their phone, and you can just scroll right past all that shit. Don't even read a word of it. Scroll right past it and put a thumbs up emoji. They'll be squirming in their seat and shit, trying to get their heart rhythm back down, and soaking their shirt in tears. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's good shit there. I'm telling you. Yeah, yeah, Ezekiel. Yeah, you must have mistaken me for someone who gives a crap. Yeah. Yep. Satan Wolf, what's up? What's up, Satan Wolf? Yeah. That's a handle for you there, buddy. Cry bullies. All right, Robert. Yeah. Yeah, that's that ancient shit now. They think that is, that's just us being dicks hardwire. Sticks and stones may break my bones. You say that to them now. That's just like us being old dicks. Yeah. Yeah. All right, undergrad. Yeah, I know. Uh, you got to tread lightly. You know what I'm saying? With the jokes and stuff, so as not to offend people. But some people need some offense, and we know which ones they are. You know what I mean? I don't want to. I never try to offend, like a large group of people. For I never want to offend large groups of people. But individuals who are begging for it, oh yeah, yeah, that's a whole lot of fun. Yeah, you're right. Living is right here. We we have a reputation for having no emotional depth, but in reality, we do have a lot of emotional depth. Uh, we don't broadcast it and share it with everybody, and think that it's cool to get online and cry and emote for the public and all this shit for clicks and whistles and shit or whatever. That kind of, that's poser shit. You know what I mean? That's just poser. Uh so no, no, that kind of shit is, we know that kind of shit is for, private. um Yeah, being called worse by better. Yeah, Michelle. But yeah, we don't. But we have this reputation for not having emotions at all, which I am perfectly fine with. I'm okay with that. Yeah, sure. Because we don't care about all this global shit and all their climate and their whatever new catastrophe they come up with. Like the ice age is coming. I don't know how many of y'all heard me say that last time. They're claiming an ice age is coming now. I can't believe they have the balls to even write an article like that or say that shit. But I read that in the New York Post. Uh, yeah, the ice age is coming. So you know, um, we'll be clubbing seals here pretty quick on the Florida beaches, because there'll be uh, the ice will be down here pretty quick. But yeah, it's just all bullshit. And then they see us, not, just shrugging our shoulders when they're all upset about the coming ice age and we're all gonna die. And Gen X is just like, whatever, dude, whatever. They think that we don't have any feelings, that we're soulless and emotionally shallow, because we don't buy into all that bullshit anymore. Texas Hippie Coalition, Satan Wolf. Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, you're right, Laura, and it's hard not to offend a narcissist. Yeah. 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 Well, yeah, that's true. They've never known any real uh, hardships. An entire generation that's never known any real hardships, you know. And and if you look back, and what actually rich people had 100 years ago, I mean, the poorest of us are better off, are living richer, more extravagant lives than the richest people were 100 years ago. It's insane. Gen Xer revenges are chef's kiss. Oh yeah, yeah, Audrey. Not all Gen Z are like that, of course. Yep, I do. Sometimes I forget to say that when I talk about other generations, Gen Z or Boomers or whatever. Yeah, I'm not talking about every single individual in every generation. When I say Gen X rules, I'm not talking about every single individual in Gen X. We've got our Karens and our wannabes and our posers, just like every other generation. So yeah, I know there are exceptions to every one. I realize that. Steven, what's up? Yeah, more nuclear winter talk. Yep. Buckle up, or bundle up rather. SBR deleted. Sober deleted. Polar bears will eat the alligators. Yeah, yeah, you're right. They will be. They'll be down here munching on our alligators. Yeah, us Floridians would be out there. Florida man would be out there fighting off polar bears. Yeah, to defending our alligators. Yeah, you're right, dude. That's a pretty damn. That'd be a pretty epic battle. All right, everybody. I hate to cut this off, but I've got to wrap it up. So thank y'all for showing up and hanging out. I really appreciate your time. I sincerely appreciate your time. I'm not one of these dipshits that don't value other people's time, and I am not even joking about that shit. I sincerely appreciate your time for sitting down here and chatting with me and hanging out with me. Nostalgia and just good common sense about the world today. Whatever how we roll. So I appreciate it for y'all taking the time. I appreciate your support. You support the channel with your time. So yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, you really don't even know how much it means to me. So thank you. Jeff Seven, Audrey, Melody, Shannon. Who else we got? RR. Sober deleted. Keith Peterson, living and active. Michelle, Electronic Music Underground, Crusader Survivor. Robert, Hardwire. Who else we got here? Did I say Steven already? I think I did already say Steven. RR, Melody, let's see. Old Man, Laura Ann, Satan Wolf, Ezekiel, Jeff Seven, Crusader Survivor, my boy Mike Fleisner. Who else? I know Metal Gear. Can't forget Metal Gear. Can't forget Metal Gear. All right. So, if I do Shannon, did I say Shannon? Dog Karma. All right. I don't know. We had quite a few people today and quite a few new faces, so I don't know if I got everybody. But if I missed your name, I apologize. It's hard to keep up with all of them. Zombie, what's up, Zombie? So yeah, but if I missed your name, I apologize. But thank you and goodbye. If I did miss your name, and for anybody watching that doesn't comment or watches on TV or whatever, thank you. I sincerely appreciate your time as well. And so, all right, everybody, y'all have a great evening. Thanks again for stopping by. And here's my spiel. Let me see. Here's my spiel. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, subscribe, and comment. If you'd like to support Gen X Thinks by becoming a member, I'll put that link down in the description, or you can head over to the channel page and become a member that way. I appreciate all the members down in the banner down here. Their support is invaluable, so thank you very much to all the existing members. I really do appreciate it. If you'd like to support the channel directly, you can do so by clicking on that super thanks button down there. Or you can hit that hype button. The hype button is something new that YouTube has come up with for smaller channels like mine, and I really do appreciate those of you who take a second and punch that hype button for me. It helps out a lot, so thank you very much. If you're interested in Gen X gear, we got some pretty cool stuff over there at Redbubble. Gen X Thinks and Gen X branded stuff, t-shirts, coffee mugs, ball caps, stickers, all kinds of cool stuff. But I'll leave that link down in the description for any of you who are interested. If you can't or don't want to support the channel in any of those ways, you can always do so by sharing these videos on your social media. That helps out one hell of a lot, so thank you very much to those of you who do that. And if you have any ideas for future episodes of Gen X Thinks, please put those down in the comments. Or you can email us, and the email is genxthinks@gmail.com. And as always, stay frosty, Gen X, and I'll see you on the next one.